Niskanen from Helsinki Cine Aasia. We are having our festival now online on April 16th to 18th, and we are happy to screen French-Cambodian co-production film Coalesce, and I'm here to speak with the director, Jessé Miceli. So hello, Jessé.
Hello.
How are you doing there in France?
Pretty well. Considering the situation, it's okay.
Yes. And talking about your film Coalesce, it happens, all the shooting was done in Cambodia, mostly in Phnom Penh and around. And I was wondering, like, how did you end up shooting a film in Cambodia?
Well, when I discovered Cambodia for the first time, almost 10 years ago now, I actually didn't know a lot about the country. But well, it was what we can call love at first sight, for the beauty of the country, of course, also for the people I met there, and for the way I felt welcome, like I rarely felt actually in other parts of the world. And but after that, then spending more time there and along the years, I also realized that I was witnessing something happening there, because the country in the past years developed really fast, and sorry, I will try to find my words in English, but so the country was really developing, the economy booming, and the urbanization of the country was happening, but really fast. And so I realized that it will be the perfect decor for the movie I wanted to make, because what's happening now in Cambodia actually happened in a lot of other countries before. I mean, the urbanization, the development, and everything. But what made it special in Cambodia was the speed of this development, the density, and the strength of it. So it brought like a lot of energy to build my story in this particular place.
Yes, and we know that Cambodia and Phnom Penh have had a very tragic history. Like the whole Phnom Penh was empty during the Khmer Rouge government, and it had to redevelop really fast after that.
Yes, absolutely. That was actually one of the few things I knew about the country. Of course, the hopeful and tragic history of the country during the past decades, and so it's pretty recent in time. This development and all the changes also brought by the foreign investments in the country, and all that has changed and is still changing deeply the life of the people there. For example, I quickly realized that some villages I've been to a few years ago, there was no electric power or anything there. And just a few years later, going back to those villages, people were all with smartphones, and some had TVs at home. And all of them also had to adapt to something that was at the same time an improvement, but also was going really fast and was forcing them to find a way to find their place in the new environment created around them.
Mm-hmm. And in the film, you also mentioned that the Chinese are investing heavily in Cambodia, like buying homes and land, and and that is what one of our characters, a taxi driver, is witnessing.
Yes, it's what's happening there. Like in most of the countries in the region, actually, we know that China has the will to expand the influence in the region, and so Cambodia is one of the main countries where they are developing businesses and investments. And as for example, in the movie, we can see the city of Sihanoukville on the coast. And once more, the first time I've been there, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, it was barely more than a fishing village with a few fishermen and some backpackers were going there, but it was really a small town. And today it has more casinos than in Macau. And as we can see in the movie, the expansion is not near to come to an end.
Mm. And around these events, you created the story about these three young men who have to kind of like struggle to make it economically to somewhere in the society.
Yes, my idea was not to make a movie about Cambodia, because I asked myself, who am I to make a movie about Cambodia, a country I didn't grew up in, and I was still a foreigner. But I also saw that there was something universal in the feelings that the people could have to face when they are forced to adapt to a fast changing environment. And I think that today we can all relate to that, having to face a fast changing environment. And so what interested me was to create a story with different way to see the situation, and also different reactions to that fact. So I decided to write three different characters, and every one of them acting differently and reacting differently to that, with between acceptance, maybe submission, but also one of them refusing that and trying to find another way. And the country being very young and the population being very young, it came as an evidence for me to write for young characters. And it was also the opportunity for me to talk about some specificities maybe about the country, because for me, coming from from France and from the old continents, it's very uncommon that at the age of 20, someone has to take the financial responsibility of the whole family. But it's something that is a reality there. And it was also interesting for me to accompany them and to be with them, to see how they take it and how they will work with that, and with the big responsibilities coming onto their shoulders at a very young age.
Mm-hmm. And how did you cast the film? Like, how did you find your participants in the film?
Well, there is not really any acting school in Cambodia. There is a few professional actors, mostly working for TV. But it was more interesting for me to work with with the non-professional, as my idea was to make a fiction, but at the same time document what I was seeing and the time and place I was witnessing. Well, so then I started to look around and to also made known that I was writing this movie. And I started to meet people. So for some of them, and it's the case of the taxi driver, for example, he was someone I already knew, and he was actually a taxi driver I traveled with a lot in the country. And at some point, where it was like, yeah, really clear for me that it will be perfect for the role. And I think he's a really good actor, actually. Yeah. And for the other ones, well. I met a few people, and at some point, the one I chose were the ones who really took it and could invest something maybe personal from their own personality into the characters.
Mm-hmm. And how did the production start? Like, where did you find the partners, the professional staff to make the film and financing?
Well, I wrote the movie, and then I realized that it was quite an emergency for me to be able to shoot it, because everything is going really fast. Also, the people I started to work with, so namely the actors of my movie, I knew that they had their own emergencies, and I could not tell them that we will shoot in maybe 1 year or 2 years. The time for me to find the money to make the movie and to find all the everything we needed for let's say a comfortable environment to make the movie. So instead of really spending time to try to find the financial supports and everything, we started to look at what we had available and to bring other people around. So all the crew is Khmer. All are Khmer people living in Cambodia. And they were very enthusiastic at the idea to be a part of it. And with a very small team, we didn't have any assistant director or script or actually even a producer, but we just brought all this energy together. And well, I hope that we can see and feel this energy on the screen.
Certainly we can. It's an interesting look at the contemporary Phnom Penh. Like the town is actually, you could almost say that Phnom Penh is one of the characters also, where like an extra character. And how did you go about like finding the locations where to shoot?
Well, I spent a lot of time in Phnom Penh, and actually it's exactly that. Even before I started to write for the movie, I felt like the city was a character on its own. And for me, I felt like I was witnessing this character changing, like almost like a teenager, struck with puberty. The sound, the voice of the city was becoming deeper, because more and more motorbikes were replaced by cars, and also even if it was chaotic with all the buildings mushrooming and everything, it was like the fast development and expansion was for me like a mirror of the young people living inside the city, as if they were growing together, and maybe the city was growing faster than the people. So that was very interesting for me to work with that as a material.
Mhm. And one of an important factor in the film are also the different kinds of transportations, I feel like, which connect the different parts of Phnom Penh. Like there's a tuk-tuk, the traditional Southeast Asian way of transportation, but then there are more like, like modern taxis, and then there is a motorbike, which one of the characters is trying to get his hands to. And did you kind of like think about these different means of transportation as something that connects to the different characters and the change in the Cambodian society?
Yes, that was well for me an interesting way to characterize the different characters of the movie, and especially as transportation is something really important in a country like Cambodia. There is not really any public transportation or anything, but and also it's really a social marker, the mean of transportation people use, like becoming richer, people are more likely to buy cars, and being poor means we have to do with a bicycle or a bike. And also for one of the character, his dream is to own a big bike, also to be accepted and integrated in a crew, and so it was interesting for me to work on that, on the different means of transportation, yeah, to characterize the people in the movie with that.
Also, I find that the use of music is important naturally in a nightclub where one of the characters earns his living. But there's also like other kinds of music, and then the end song, which is like a more traditional, maybe Cambodian popular song. So can you talk a little bit about the music in the
Yes.
film?
What I really wanted to do is to somehow link the past to the present. And well, I always really loved traditional Khmer music from before the Khmer Rouge. And I felt like it was a good way to create a link from well between the younger generation, more and more listening to songs and music inspired by the Western culture, with well, looking to toward rap music, and with something a bit more American in the sound we have. And but also, and it's still true today, the traditional music is still something people are really attached to, and it was maybe a way for me to remind of a tragic past, because all the singers and musicians of the music and song that we can hear in the movie were killed by the Khmer Rouge, and so it was maybe a way to keep the spirit awake and alive of it, and to put it in a movie about modern Cambodia.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and there's a little bit even heavy rock in one heavy metal rock to kind of like characterize one of the events there.
Yes, the heavy metal scene is still small in Cambodia, but it's growing, and well, I found it interesting that as a way to express frustration, and maybe a kind of rage as well, but with some hope at the end, with something rising up. And it was for me interesting to use that as a way for a kind of a revelation for the younger character, for him to decide maybe to oppose the violence and of what was forced into him.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and when there are also like the dancing scenes, like naturally, since one of the characters works as a Thai, works as a host in a kind of like a gay kind of like commercial club. He dances, but when they also practice the dances and design the dances, what happened here?
Yes, well, so this character is yes, he's working in a gay bar or gay club, and like in most of the countries in Asia, this kind of clubs will give shows for dancing shows, and most of the time sexy dancing shows for the customers, and most of them are Westerners coming to try to find entertainment in these places. And what I wanted to also show is maybe the backstage of that, with the young people practicing for the show, but what they have in mind is more the money and the salary they can get from that, more than to really wanting to give the entertainment the older Westerners were coming to try to find there.
Yes, so the kind of like presence of foreigners is not only the Chinese investors, but also these Westerners who come there to find cheap entertainment, be it like, you know, these kinds of clubs or sexual services, or like in one recent Finnish film, drugs in Cambodia. Yeah.
Yes, well, absolutely. It's still a reality today. And well, when the country started to open after the UN force arrived and then left, it brought at first, I think so, partly NGO workers, and also backpackers and people trying to get the thrill of the place opening, and it's something we can still see today. So of course there is the economic disparity, making it cheap for people coming from richer countries, and all that mixed with the new consumerism that we can find there. Well, it creates a situation in which everything becomes a product, and potentially a cheap product, including the bodies and the people. So everything can be sold and bought in this race to consumerism. Sorry.
Yes. And the structure of a film is kind of like we see those three stories of these three people kind of like developing separately, like there is no connection, but in the end you bring them all together. Like how did you kind of like think about this kind of a structure for your film?
Well, So I wanted to really have three different characters, but actually facing the same kind of problems. The the relationship with the family, the need to find a way to survive in a rough and fast-changing environments, and it was more something like I just wanted because at some point all those young people will have to be together to face the change of the country.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and has this film been shown in Cambodia yet?
Well, for now, it has been shown to the crew, and there was one public screening at the French Institute in Phnom Penh. But well, with the current situation, theaters are closed and everything. So we'll see later what if we can show it to more people.
Yes, and so in most countries, you have been forced to distribute to festivals like online festivals, and this was premiered at the Cannes Film Festival Acid series last summer, right?
Yes.
And has it been traveling to many festivals since that?
Quite a few now, but as you said, mostly online festivals. Some festivals has been cancelled for this year, and well, unfortunately, with the current situation, it's rough times for the industry. That's for sure.
Yes, so we hope that in the future you can travel to countries and to Cambodia with your film and talk with the audience after the screening.
Well, yes. Thank you, and I hope I will be able to come to Finland as well. But well, we'll see.
Yes. So thank you for your time with us. And do you have a special message to Finnish audiences to the end?
Well, I hope you will enjoy the ride, and thank you.
Yes, and so this film will be can be seen at the Helsinki Cine Aasia online festival, which is running now April 16th to 18th, Friday to Sunday. So please go there and see Coalesce by Jessé Miceli. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.